what ended up happening in court, just as a summary, is we went in, we had our motion filed. You can find that motion. It's a publicly available document. You can evaluate the claims for yourself. I would encourage you to read the fucking document, though, because that's the one thing I've noticed that most people aren't doing is actually reading the document. Like actually reading them and going, okay, what is this actually doing? Because the analysis that I've seen has gotten the basic premises wrong. And it's like, understand that what we're asking for is a Frank's hearing where we get to challenge the legitimacy of statements used by the officer under oath made to a judge in requesting the warrant to search my property. We lay out specific statements that we allege are misrepresentations made with either knowledge of the falsity or reckless disregard for the truth. And those representations were material to the issuing of the warrant. That's the standard for Frank's. All we have to do at this point is make a prima facie showing that these statements were false and that they're material and that they were knowingly false. Because all we really ask officers to do in warrant requests is not lie. That's all we really ask them to do. So you can read those things. But if you start reading and you go, Nick is arguing to suppress XYZ, rewind the tape because you're not watching the right movie and start your analysis over. And if you're a law tuber and you missed that the first go around, I forgive you. I forgive you. Maybe if you were practicing attorneys, you wouldn't have missed it. So you can check out the motion because it's public. I'm sure it's shared everywhere. You can see bad analysis from it of it on YouTube. But really, what happened was the county attorney asked for time to respond in writing. They received rough 9 or 10 days. I didn't count out exactly. I think they respond by August 30th. And then we have 5 days after that. Apparently we get to reply by September 6th, I believe, which I think those are 2 Fridays or something like that, or Friday, Thursday. It doesn't matter. August 30th to September 6th. And then after that, the judge will make his ruling on whether or not we have made that prima facie showing and we proceed to a Frank's hearing. If we don't proceed to a Frank's hearing, I believe we move on from that point because without actually striking any part of the warrant affidavit, I believe the warrant would be presumptively valid at that point. I'm not saying that for sure. I'm not sure if there would be able to be a subsequent challenge or not, but that's the next step. And so if we win on the issues, again, we go to a Frank's hearing and then we get to duke out with the prosecution the validity of the statements in the warrant. If we win and strike a sufficient amount of the warrant, we win the case. Unless the state has some alternative grounds to prosecute than what they were able to obtain through the execution of the warrant. Since, to my knowledge, the only evidence that the state has of any alleged crimes came from the execution of a warrant, at least the state's version of evidence, the state's version of crimes, all of that stuff, all of the caveats necessary to talk about shit. But everything that they allege came from the execution of the warrant. And so without a valid warrant, the case would be over. People have called this like a Hail Mary pass or whatever, but you don't throw Hail Marys at the beginning. You just go straight for the one-hit KO. And anybody who doesn't go for a one-hit KO, if they think they have any chance at it, you have to always determine that with your legal counsel. But I'm a guy who says I should probably take the shot. And say, I actually don't believe that you can charge me with a crime. I don't believe that you've done the right thing. And so that's where we are right now. So again, if we win on our motion, we get to have a hearing to then further attack the warrant. If we don't win on our motion, then we just move on to the next stage. And there's a whole lot left before any sort of trial. I would not expect trial. Even if we were to go to trial, I wouldn't expect trial before December, maybe even later. I've got a long road ahead of me. So that can always change. There's all sorts of shit that can change it. But for now, that's where we are.